So as I said, I had two presentations, a short one and a long one. Since David talked quite a while, I'm going to go with the long one, so I'm sorry. I apologize. My long one's about 15 minutes. Appreciate you. So the first slide up here, I want to talk to you very briefly. We have a community-wide problem. We have a national problem, and that's this doggone thing. People are using this, and they're driving their car, and it's killing people. And so we have made a purposeful effort in Williamson County Schools to focus on the impact of distracted driving, and I need your help. I need your help to put your phone away when you're behind the wheel. I need your help to talk to your children about putting their phone away while they're behind the wheel. Every year we just simply bury too many folks because this device is dangerous while you're trying to operate a motor vehicle. So thank you so much for helping me with that. As I always do, I have put my contact information up on the overhead. You can take a picture of that, or you can ask a neighbor for my cell phone number. All the 44,000 students have it. And so join the crowd if you don't have it yet. Please, seriously reach out to me if you have questions about our school district. We're here to serve you. You can also access information directly off of our webpage. As you know, we have a 12-member elected school board. Many of them are here. Board members, please stand and be recognized. Thank you so much for your work. And I must tell you, our school board is laser focused these days. We have a strategic plan that guides our work, and they are intently focused on the goals and the objectives that the community put the strategic plan together with the school board in accomplishing. So thank you, school board members, for their focus. Please feel free to reach out to our school board members as well. They are here to serve you and to answer your questions and support your needs as it relates to public schools. Our strategic plan is actually located in paper copy, the glossy version, at the center of your table. Please feel free to take that with you so you can be informed about what's happening in our school district and know what our priorities are. And when you see us make requests, you'll know then that they are aligned, the requests are aligned to our strategic priorities. Please stay connected with our school district. There are a myriad of ways of doing that: calling, contacting me, following us on Twitter. But most importantly, Carol Birdsong would certainly kick me out of this room if I didn't mention the formal way that we communicate outwardly with our school community, and that's through our In Focus newsletter. So it's just like one of the other newsletters that are out there, except for you have to subscribe to it. So if you subscribe, it's absolutely free. It hits your inbox every Friday, and it's full of all kinds of, Tuesday this year, and it's full of all kinds of important information. So please sign up for In Focus. David mentioned that he has 5 reward schools. We have 16 this year. All of the principals of the reward schools are represented in this room. Please stand, principals, and be recognized. Thank you very much. Good job, principals. And that's despite last year's testing was a fiasco across our state. You probably heard something about that. I know I did. Our strategic plan has 3 big buckets that we focus on. The first bucket is about our people, investing in team quality and excellence. And so obviously we have a lot of teachers with lots of different accolades. Our work is about people. I tell folks all the time, we're really in the people business. And so if you just look at the type of people that we have in our district, we have 6,230 employees. We're the largest employer in Williamson County. We have, you can see the numbers up there, a little bit over 3,000 teachers. The rest of them are classified members of our group, and then we have certainly a lot of substitute teachers as well. I just wanted to highlight, because if we're in the people business, we have to talk about the people that work with us. Harriet just celebrated 50 years of teaching in Williamson County Schools. And going strong, I might add. So we have several teachers that have won all kinds of additional awards and accolades this past year. And so we're very proud as well of the progress and the awards that our teachers receive. The second big bucket really relates to students. And so we are focused on improving student-centered operations across the district. What does that really mean? We want to make sure that we're providing the services that students need to be successful. That's really the primary focus of our work. With that being said, within that area, we're focused on arts, academics, athletics, and just as David mentioned, social emotional learning. In fact, we're the first district that I know of in the state of Tennessee that has come up with a threat assessment protocol. The world is changing, isn't it? We're seeing violence come into our schools like never before. And so our district went and looked for research-based models across the country that help us assess and react to threats proactively and reactively. And we found that the state of Virginia has a very good model. So we put together a team of experts, and this last year we built a threat assessment protocol that tells us exactly, explicitly, how we're going to handle threats proactively and reactively when they occur. And so we're really excited about that work. To give you some context, this is why that's important. I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to let you look at it. That's this year. Threats fall into one of three categories. A level 1 threat is a minor threat. I'm going to beat you up after school. A level 2 threat is I'm going to beat you up after school and I have brass knuckles with me and here they are. Threat level 3 is I'm going to do something very, very bad, very bad. So this is our data from the first part of the year. You can see that, thank goodness, we haven't had any level 3 threats yet, but we have had some level 1 and 2 threats. And here's why. Our culture is changing. Kids are watching TV shows and playing games where I'm going to kill you, I'm going to hurt you is commonplace vocabulary. It's part of, it just slips off their tongue. And so in Williamson County, we're beginning to work on changing our children's vocabulary in school so that they know that that's not a line that they can cross. And we're going to need your help, everybody's help, because we're in this together. So we focused on the social emotional part of it, and I want to tell you something. If we had a level 3 threat, we have also added this element. In order for a student to return to school in Williamson County, if they fall under the level 3, they have to get a psychological evaluation before they can return. So they get excluded from school and they have to have a psychological evaluation before they can return to school to make sure that they are no longer a threat to students or our employees in our building. That's going to cost us money, but we think it's an imperative in the world that we live in today. I just wanted to share with you some of the arts and athletic data that we have. This is for high school students alone. We have 13,595 students enrolled in fine arts programs in our high schools only, albeit that we have fine arts all the way down into the elementary schools. And then we have 11,000 plus athletes in the high school alone. And that's not counting club sports. That's just TSSAA and other types of sports. The third big bucket that we have is we want to prepare students for the future. School is about getting them ready, right? It's not an end point, it's a beginning point, a preparatory activity. So with that being said, what does the data say about us? I could end right here with a simple statement: we kind of rock. But I want to prove it to you, just in case you're a skeptic. So you can see our ACT results since the time that I've been here, what's happened over time. This year's projections indicate that we'll be higher than we were last year. So every year for the last 10 years now, we've increased slightly over time. I don't know about you, but I remember the ACT. That's really good. This is the number of students that are taking advanced placement classes in our district. Blue is enrollment, red is exams taken, green is exams passed. You can see what's happening. What does that mean? Kids are getting college credit while they're still in high school. The same thing about dual enrollment. So a dual enrollment course is just like AP in that they get both high school credit and college credit at the same time for the same course. I want to stop right here just for a second. Those of you that have heard me speak before have heard me say this before. So the blue line, the blue is Williamson County all students. So if we take all of our third graders and put them in the bucket and said, how do they do? That's the blue line. The light blue line is the state's all student category. So it's comparing all of our students to all of the state students, blue and blue. If you look at the dark green, that's our students that are Black, Hispanic, Native American, or economically disadvantaged, or special education. One of those 5 categories of students. The light green is the state's performance. Now here's the remarkable part. I don't know if this is a compliment to us or a worrisome spot for the rest of the state. Look at our subgroup performance, which is the dark green, compared to the state's all student performance in any subject area. So our students that have disabilities, our students that are economically disadvantaged, are outperforming the state's all student category across the board. Ladies and gentlemen, that's remarkable. That's unheard of. A little bit more context. Last year's graduating class collected $170+ million in college scholarships. If you back it up to 2010 since I've been here, it's $1 billion+. Last year's graduating cohort, 38 perfect ACT scores. And this year, we have a record high 53 National Merit semifinalists. Once again, all the academic indicators, no matter which one you look at, are all pointing up, right and up, exactly where you want it to go. So, everything's great. Don't fix what's not broken, just steady the ship, right? Nah. You see, I believe firmly that we have school life that begins at 8 o'clock and ends at 3. And then we have real life that begins at 3:01 and ends at 7:59 a.m. for our kids. And we got to figure out how to change that dynamic. I'm not sure that school, the way it was originally designed, works effectively for our students these days. How many of you remember your college Algebra 1 class and you hardly remember what you learned in there? You know why? It wasn't relevant. You learned it for the test. You learned it because you had to. You wanted to pass, or your parents would cut you off on your funding, right? Well, what we want to do is we want kids to internalize it and for it to be relevant in their lives. So we have some ideas. And I want to talk about those. First, for the first time ever this year, thanks to the leadership of our board, we have the first online learning program in our district's history. So kids are going to high school online. They can sit in their bed on the computer and do their work. Or they can do it while they're on break at their job. Or they can do it at midnight because they sleep till 12, right? So we have 13 different high school courses being offered. We have 14 part-time teachers. We have 260 high school students involved. And these are the courses that they're enrolled in. This is just the beginning. We're going to get to the place where we don't have to build a second high school building next year because we have students that opt for online learning. And they meet the teacher at the coffee shop for consultation instead of going to 7 periods a day. We feel like that's the direction we need to be moving in. Makes it more relevant. And then finally, I just want to preview this concept with you. You talking about aggressive. Our school board is aggressive. They're focused. How do we make learning relevant? Last year, we had the good fortune of converting half of the old Columbia State build campus on Franklin High School into traditional classrooms so we could expand the capacity at Franklin High School. That left half the building unimproved. So we came up with this notion that we have a group of students. Students, if you'll come up here for me, come on up. We have a group of students that have an interest in, just come on up on stage. Rogers, could you give me that mic? I'm sorry, sir. A lot of our students want to follow their parents' pathway. So many of our parents right here in Williamson County don't work for a large corporation. They have their own business. They have their own store. or they've invented their own thing, or they're in the music industry. They're entrepreneurs. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. 66% of millennials intend to start their own business. They don't want to work for corporate America. They want to hang their own shingle. But the truth of it is, we don't do a really good job of preparing them for that. In fact, when I was in high school, I took Accounting 1. It didn't connect to anything other than the textbook. So we want to solve that problem. 65% of students entering elementary school will have a job that doesn't exist today. We don't know what kind of job is going to be out there, other than they have to be flexible and ongoing learners and have some basic skills, right? So the board and I have agreed to create the first ever Entrepreneur and Innovation Center. It's a big fancy title. Here's what it really means. For any student that has an idea, a concept, a proclivity, an interest in forming their own business in some way, they will be eligible to come to our Entrepreneur and Innovation Center. And they will be able to learn from the best on how to take a concept from conceptual stages all the way through marketing and development and financing. So many large communities have business incubators where you can go into a business incubator environment and have supports in place to help you get started. This is exactly the same thing that we're talking about doing for high school students. Let me give you an example. Mr. Galbraith introduced us to a young lady that makes cupcakes. They're delicious, by the way. They're really good. Low cal, right, Jay? I'm sure. Well, what happens with that child's entrepreneur spirit? Well, the data suggests this, that from middle school to high school, the entrepreneur spirit goes away. They start having all these barriers come up in their head that I don't have the skill set to do that. We want to knock those barriers down and give them a place to explore how to become an entrepreneur. So instead of taking Accounting 1, they would actually be taking QuickBooks so that they can manage their own finances in the business that they're trying to create. So the example that I gave the board was this. Imagine a young person that wants to sell birdhouses. So they have an idea. They'll create models of birdhouses. They'll figure out how much they're going to sell them for. They're going to figure out how they would market them. They might even test market them, see which ones sell the most. They have to have financing in place to get the raw materials. They have to have a way to produce them. They have to have a manufacturing process. They have to have a business plan in order to get the financing. All of those separate, distinct things are going to happen at the EIC of Williamson County, hosted by Franklin High School. So that when they graduate from high school, they'll have the beginning skill set to hang their own shingle if that's what they have an interest in. There are several different types of students that will go to the Entrepreneur Center. First, students that are interested in post-secondary education. I want to be an accountant and I want to also do X. Those students would qualify to go there. Students that would go there not for credit but just want to participate. I'm going to Harvard, the law school, but I also like making apps. So I want to learn more about the business of making apps. Students that are not there for credit, but are going to do consulting work for other groups of students. I'm a great web designer. I have some friends that are opening up a little business. They need some web design help. I'm going to go and help them out. And then finally, the students that want high school credit. If our business is truly about students, we have to figure out how to break down the traditional walls of schooling and make schooling relevant for young men and women. The people behind me are examples of just that. And in a second, I'm going to ask them to talk to you for a few minutes. I want to show you some modeling of the innovation of the Entrepreneur and Innovation Center here. Just some cut sheets from it. I'm going to back off that one yet. I don't want you to see that one yet. Back up, back up. There you go. All right, so I want to introduce you to our real work, because it's not about me. I just happen to have the benefit of working on behalf of boys and girls and teachers and staff members. It's really about the students. So I wanted you to hear firsthand from just a few of our students about the work that they're doing and their pursuits. I told you early on we were focusing on academics. We have some academians here. We have some athletes here. We have some artists here. We have some people that are interested in career technical education. And I just wanted you to hear their story, because there's hundreds and hundreds of students right behind them following their journey. All right, so I'm going to give you the microphone, and you were singing and playing when I walked in, right? So tell us your name.
Micah Steinborn.
And Micah, hold the mic. Tell us where you go to school, what your interests are, how school has impacted your interests.
All right, I go to Renaissance High School, and Renaissance, I'm in the Audio Academy, and it has put me leagues ahead of everybody else who is in kind of the music lane with me, because I can keep up with people who've been doing audio engineering for years and years and years. I just love playing music. I play at and around the Franklin and Nashville area. I'm sponsored and keep up artist relations with Takamine Guitars. I've been offered and am still being looked at for artist and publishing deals by multiple music companies. And school's helped me in writing. Most of my songs are inspired by philosophy and multiple books.
So let me ask you this question. Your interest is audio engineering and music and writing and producing. Do you get to experience that at school?
Oh, all the time. That's literally.
How so?
Well, Renaissance is really interesting. One of my classes is entirely audio engineering.
That mic's on.
So we learn Pro Tools and all of.
Wait a second, they can't hear you, so we're gonna make it better. There we go.
I'm very loud, so maybe you heard me anyways. Half of what we learn, actually all we learn for one of my periods a day is audio engineering. So I understand Logic, I understand Pro Tools, I know how to set up and tear down a studio, I know studio building. I can run an entire studio. I could tell you the difference between this microphone, a ribbon microphone, and a compression microphone like the one you're wearing. I could do all of that for you. I could record an entire album in my basement if I wanted to. But right now I'm actually working on an EP with a producer named Mike Webb. He's worked with Chris Stapleton, Sergio Simpson, lots of different people. He's super great.
So school is not just about learning math and English and reading, but it's also about pursuing your interests and your passions.
Yeah, of course. It's all in the business of helping you pursue that. Like in English class, I read a lot. One of the songs I was singing earlier, actually, the main idea was about from the point of view of Tituba from The Crucible. I hated that book, but man, it got me a song.
Awesome, very good. Y'all give her a round of applause, please. When people ask me what's special about Williamson County, it's that our teachers can connect the dots for young men and women, just like that. That's awesome. And you look like an athlete, yeah? Tell us about you.
So my name is Gabriel Sleenhoff. I go to Raywood High School. I'm a junior. And over the summer, I got an offer from Dartmouth for football. And so...
now that's a Division I school, right?
Yeah, and so along with a couple of my other teammates who are also juniors and some of the seniors, I think we have, at this point this year, we have 5 Division I offers. And so, and that's going along with all the other sports we do. So I do track and field, I'm a thrower, like my dad and my brother went to college throwing, and I've surpassed his marks actually, so I might be doing that.
Nothing like a little family competition. So, what's your ACT score, if you don't mind sharing? Do you know?
34.
34. What's yours? 32. And I don't know, you kind of look like you might be Ivy League bound. What's your story, Brandon?
I have a 36 on the ACT. Throughout high school, I have taken 14 AP classes, which means heading into college, I will have a semester to a semester and a half of credits already covered. Right now, I'm looking at Cornell, Stanford, Yale, and Wash U in St. Louis. And yeah, I also run cross country, and I'm a 4-time All-State bass player. So
Wow.
It's not just academics.
Incredible. Will, tell us all about you.
Hi, I'm Will Hankey. I'm a senior at Independence High School, and I like to describe my high school experience as kind of a holy trinity between academics, soccer, and theater. Currently, I'm the captain for my soccer team. I also have a 36 on my ACT, and I'm currently taking 5 AP classes, and then I'm actually leaving after this to go to rehearsal till 8 for Independence rendition of The Matchmakers. So a lot of people ask me why I do it, as if it's a punishment, and I think like some sleepless nights, I kind of doubt my passions, but you know, through the arts programs and the people at Independence and throughout Williamson County, I have been able to like rekindle that flame of love for soccer, theater, and school in general. So
Awesome. Aaron?
Hello, my name is Aaron Dews. I am a senior at Summit High School. I would say my niche is being a multimedia producer. So I grew up in a musical household. My father, he does music and television music, and he does film cues for them, so he gets royalties for that. So that's the field that I want to go into, but music is in my bones. So I've been producing since the age of 11, full-length tracks. I know the in and outs of Logic and Reason. I know how to mix and master. I know how to work in a studio, similar to the young lady at the end. And what I've noticed is that the courses that we have at Summit, the digital design course and the photo club and the TV and film go hand in hand. So I've been pairing those two. So I'm also an artist. I rap and I write. And I've noticed that me pairing those things have helped establish my brand. So I'm editing my videos, I'm making my cover arts, I am mixing and mastering my own music. Unfortunately, I don't have the means to divvy out money to other people to do that. So I've been very hands-on with my art, and I think my brand has become very personable. And those classes that we have here at Summit have helped me cultivate that. And I'm very grateful for that, so yeah.
Hello, my name is Mario Pukul. I go to Fairview High School, and I'm a senior. So I was brought here because I am currently doing mechatronics at my school. This was incorporated my sophomore year. I've been in the classroom working on a computer, learning all the things that I need to, and to be able to go next door to where we have a work site, and we can use all the information we learn to kind of incorporate ourselves and just see what we can do with all the new technologies that are coming out within like the future.
So Mario hasn't told you this yet, so I'm going to spill the beans. In May, he's going to graduate with a high school diploma and an associate's degree in high school. Thank y'all very much. I want to say this. These are just stellar examples. You would think I would have had a dug very deep and hard looking for exemplars in the district. I called yesterday afternoon and said, can you send me a few students? So my point being this, as great as they are, there are scores of other ones. We have things right in Williamson County. We have engaged parents who care about their children, who care about being involved in school. We have great teachers, just like David does. We have some of the best teachers in the country. We have a supportive school community that wants the schools to do well and demands we do well. We come together when times are tough, such as you did with the sales tax increase, so that we could build more buildings. We have 17 buildings that are in design or under construction in the next 10 years. We currently today have 44,502 students. It's growing every single day by 5 or 6 students. Things are going really, really well. But we can't take our eye off the ball, and we can't be satisfied with where we are. We have to continue pushing. We have to be innovative. We have to create extra experiences like the Entrepreneur Center or the online high school program, continue to expand foreign language. And I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave you with this. The hardest part of my job today is finding good quality employees. And if you're an employer, you would agree with me. It's getting ever more difficult. In fact, we still have some vacancies today that I desperately need to fill. A chemist to teach chemistry to high school students, foreign language, Spanish, special education teachers, of course, bus drivers. So the reality of it is the pipeline of high quality employees is drying up. Why? Well, one is the changing norms of our society where the teaching profession isn't looked at like it used to be. Everybody comes to a parent meeting with a lawyer these days. I bring two. It's getting more difficult to be a teacher. And then finally, I want to leave you with this. The cost of living in Middle Tennessee is growing exponentially. In fact, there's a lot of reports out just in this last year that talk about how expensive it is to live in Nashville and Williamson County. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't hire new teachers with a bachelor's degree right out of school because I'm not competitive anymore. Look at that. Now, it's a true statement to say that when you get lots of years experience, 20 plus years of experience, we pay really well compared to our peers in Williamson County. But I don't have enough veteran people from other places applying for jobs in Williamson County. The new employees that are coming are first-year teachers with no experience right out of college. And it's true. It's a true statement that say that, hey, we got a really good insurance program. Our insurance program is better than most. Well, that's a true statement. We have great insurance thanks to the county. We're self-funded. But a 22-year-old with no kids isn't thinking about insurance. They're thinking about, can I pay the rent? Can I afford the car payment? So I want to leave you with this thought. I don't have a solution to this. But look, 12 miles to the north, they pay $5,000 more a year. We've got to solve this together. If you want to continue to live in an environment that has high quality educational outcomes for students, where billions of dollars of college scholarships flow through Williamson County's borders, then we got to figure out how to pay these people well. I don't go a month without losing half a dozen people to somebody else that pays more. And I'm not talking about getting into a salary war with any other district or any other entity. What I am talking about is let's pay them competitively so they can afford to live around here. So that when 3 o'clock, they don't run out the door with their papers in their hand to drive another hour and a half because of traffic. We need to figure out a solution how we're going to pay our teachers well. And here's why that matters. It doesn't matter who your superintendent is. No offense, board members. It really doesn't matter who you are. What really matters is the teacher that closes the door, drowns out the noise, and teaches kids. Let's work on that together this year. It's my priority. It's our school board's priority. Thank you very much.